Hi, this is Karen Rowland, founder of Providence. Welcome to my new weekly Wellbeing podcast, Real People, Real Conversations, Real Life. We'll be talking about all things relating to the human experience. What makes up a life? What creates joy and happiness? What makes humans the same or different? How do we care for ourselves and each other? We'll even try to answer the 5 W's of well-being: who, what, when, where, and why, and how this all fits together. A little ambitious? Maybe, but join us as we connect with local topic experts, peers, mentors, and healers. Hi, welcome to today's episode of Hush Providence, a well-being podcast. I'm thrilled to introduce Kristie Raymond, owner and casting director of HumanKind Casting out of Boston, Massachusetts. She's also a board member for Rhode Island Fashion Week. Welcome, Kristie.
Thank you very much. Excited to be here.
So, to see and to be seen, that is the truest nature of love, Brené Brown quote. And from all I've read and all I've talked to, it sounds like HumanKind Casting is all about that. So, the leading casting agency for diverse faces, voices, and stories where everybody belongs. Can you share your personal story and how you got to HumanKind?
Sure. I've been very privileged to be in the modeling and advertising industry for over 35 years. I started off owning a modeling agency for about 10 years in the 1990s, then moved into full production and owning my own production company and really seeing the jobs that produce the photos and videos that we are bombarded with. So I got to see how they started, how they developed, how they were produced, and then the final product that was out there. I rounded out my career at Hasbro, where I really felt I got a totally different view, really an insider's view about how the brands were approaching their advertising. And it was during that time that I got connected with one of the teams, the Baby Alive teams, who really embraced the idea of diversity. And this was well before 2020 with all of the conversations that began happening then. This was prior to that. It was really exciting to be a part of those discussions, as well as some of the changes that we were able to bring about by bringing in a nonprofit organization, Changing the Face of Beauty, hosting a live casting event at Hasbro. The team then found children that they were able to use for packaging, for videos, for different advertising purposes. And my goal there was to really continue to try to continue with that evolution of how diversity could also be looked at from ability as well. 2020 hits and things are really going awry, right? Things are really going awry. And I also felt that I wasn't getting the traction that I was really hoping. So I really thought I can bring this idea outside to a lot more organizations. And that's really the impetus for HumanKind Casting, is really being able to understand the production process, because I've done many of the roles involved in the production of photos and videos. And I understand that the desire to be accurate, to be authentic, and to really show diversity beyond skin tones, to include all of us of all abilities, because we are truly who make up our society. And if, again, you can see it, then you can be it. And I think that that's, sort of a saying that I think has been around for quite some time, but I really believe that when someone can look at a photo or video and feel that connection, not so much the aspiration, we might do that with actors or people that, are sort of levels away from us. But when we see someone who looks like us, who acts like us, who is us, we then feel that connection. And I think that that's a lot of what we're missing today. And my hope is that by talking to production teams and talking to advertisers and talking to brands, we can begin to sort of weave, truly who we are into the fabric of our advertising and visuals that we see every day.
And now a shout out to our sponsor, the Good Seed Market, 138 Central Avenue, Seekonk, Massachusetts. Started in 1989 by three friends with a goal of creating a neighborhood market offering simple, natural, organic products for a healthy lifestyle. Now a member of the independent Natural Foods Retailer Association, our friends at The Good Seed are offering our listeners a 10% discount on their first purchase just by mentioning Hush Providence. The Good Seed Market, a place where ideas can grow. So I don't know if you saw last week, but now that Hasbro and Mattel, I guess, are friends and they're doing some work together, we can say the B word, but Barbie came out last week with the new Down syndrome Barbie. And I watched the unveiling on TV and it was very moving to see the children playing with this doll that looked like them and they could just relate to. And it was amazing. So that's what you do every day.
It's wonderful. And you know what? Let's talk money a minute. If I'm correct, it's already sold out. So
really?
The fact is, this is an enormous group of people who, when they see themselves represented or parents see their children represented from a brand, that's where their dollars are going. So it really becomes, it comes full circle. They want to support brands that are being inclusive and creating settings of inclusivity and belonging. It's not just an afterthought. It's not just an other. It is a sense of belonging that, all children, all people, we've got to put people on the same level. And I think a lot of people don't.
You're right. I mean, we're demanding that these companies have a certain sense of corporate citizenship, and that's where the money is going to go. That's where the support's going to go. And as a consumer, that's where our dollars are going to go. So you're definitely right on with that. Is there any story behind your logo? Because it's very cool. I don't know. We didn't talk about that, but
we didn't. I don't know, but if you can see behind me, my production company was Viewfinder Productions, which is right here. And that was a logo designed for me by Mark Sylvester from Interrobang Design. I'm going to give him a plug, Richmond, Vermont. He's amazing. He and his wife, Lisa, they are a partner team. And he designed the Viewfinder logo really with this moving eye that was like in the center of like being able to see it all, right? So when I launched HumanKind, I said, I really want to continue with that eye, like that seeing. But I also, really would I'd like an image that I feel sort of makes people stop and think. And what I liked is, number one, the circles, the community, the sense of community you feel within a circle, that representation. And then those circles represent like the muses, the 9 muses of life. And I thought that just had a lot of interesting feeling to it. So my friend kind of like took what I was trying to say in words and put it into a design. So
I love it.
I love it. I do.
I love it too. That's awesome. And I would encourage all of our listeners to go to www.youarehumankind.com to learn more about Kristie and to actually watch the video. You've got a visual mission statement out there, which is very cool. So everyone should check that out for sure. HumanKind Originals, that's your portfolio, and Changing the Face of Beauty is the campaign. So maybe you could elaborate a little bit on both of those things.
Changing the Face of Beauty is actually a nonprofit organization out of Michigan. I was introduced to them shortly after they launched in 2016. It is run by Katie Driscoll, and she started the organization on behalf of her daughter, Grace. And I think that her mission was that, change the face of beauty. Let's really make some difference. So she started a campaign of headshot clinics, which were held around the country, often by organizers of just parents of kids with disabilities or who identified with a disability, and had some real success with that. Obviously came to Hasbro. We really had a great time with her. She flew in from Michigan for that, and she actually flew in recently to work with me. But the problem was, as a nonprofit, she sort of like can do those clinics, and that gets a lot of attention. But then what happens with those photos? Like what happens? And, for a while there, nothing happened. And then 2020, so clinics stopped. They are just ramping back up. We actually hosted the very first casting since COVID, and that was on April 2nd in Boston. It was really exciting. As I mentioned, Katie flew in. But it was during the organization of this first casting clinic that I said, what if we could develop a partnership between what I do at HumanKind Casting and what you're doing, and really create a platform or a portfolio where these photos could be seen? I have the platform. I don't want to be a modeling agency, although I do feel that I approach casting with the perspective of an agent. I have, for me, both the talent and the client at heart. I really do. I feel like that's the way to approach this, to be accurate and authentic, and really sort of put myself into the production process to allow for ease of that to happen. To be the liaison. So, when in talking with Katie about the organization, I said, what if we partnered? What if I was able to develop a portfolio of HumanKind originals, which were kids and young adults that attend the clinics? If they choose, they can be part of our portfolio. And our goal at HumanKind Casting is to contact producers, art directors, creative directors, production managers, and let them know that we exist and that we have kids around the country that could participate and be considered for work within any of the productions that they're doing, photos and videos. And that's really what the ultimate plan is to do. So we've just launched this collaboration, and as the clinics fill up, we've had Boston, we've had Worcester, there's been one in New Jersey, there's been one in Miami, there's one in Philadelphia coming up. We're hoping to host one in the Rhode Island area. We've got one on the books for Portland, Maine. We want to be more involved so we can attend these clinics and meet these kids and young adults, so that we can be able to be that liaison and go back to a client. And when they say they're looking for someone that they want to have participate, we're going to be able to tell them what these children and young adults are able to do. What are their parameters? What is it that you're looking for? Is it someone who is physically disabled, wheelchair? Are they in a wheelchair because of a disability due to illness, a disability due to accident, different spinal cord injuries? There's so many different levels, but I think that again, if there's got to be a place for them. So that's where we're launching. We've launched HumanKind Originals. We've got already 40 kids in our portfolio, and our goal will be to really heavily market them to productions.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you.
What a great start.
I'm excited about it. I think that, as we develop, I think some different approaches to casting. There's different models on how to incorporate what we're trying to do into an already existing process that is again, I know for internal people, they're going from one to the next, to the next, to the next. But my hope is that by talking with some people, especially those that know what their year ahead entails, we can work with them on a rolling basis to bring people in and present them as they go along and work in budgets that make sense.
And I think there's a real appetite for that now.
I do too. I think so we do a thing, what we call like a living library. So let's say, for instance, I'm working with Pottery Barn, and Pottery Barn now has a line of adaptive Halloween costumes, adaptive backpacks, all these really interesting things for kids. So they just told us back in February, we're looking for kids who use adaptive technology to get around, if they use a wheelchair, if they use a walker. So that was one group. Then they're like, we're also going to be looking for individuals that you have a G-tube, and here's some sizing of what we're looking for. And this was all back in February. So we've been able to use the 6 weeks, 8 weeks to really get some outreach into these mom groups, into these really wonderful, I don't even know, more than just groups of people. They're just these communities, and say, hey, we have this opportunity. Who's interested in submitting? This is, paying work. And so, but it's been ongoing. And so once the Pottery Barn books a kid, we then charge them a service fee based on, the project and what we've been doing. So it's agreed to ahead of time. I think it's just a little bit different of an approach to casting, but I like that they can go back to our links. We keep finding more people. They know that they have 6 shoots throughout the year. They know what they're going to need for kids, and we're able to fulfill that as they go.
That's awesome.
As
So
they go
everybody
through it.
wins. Everybody
I think
wins.
so. You
Yeah.
know, again, the parents are so excited. Again, not only do their children have an opportunity like any typical kid, but people are listening. You know, people are
People are
trying
paying
to.
attention. They're paying attention. They really
They're
are.
paying attention 100%.
Mhm.
Not only just a consumer, but I'll tell you, the teams as well. People want to make a difference. They want to create sets that are places of belonging and, you know, accommodations where needed. It's not that hard. It really isn't. By just making a few small changes, you know, giving people some space, we can incorporate any person into a photo shoot, into a video shoot, and have it be really successful again, and really authentic.
That's awesome. So you're
and
really having an
sincere.
impact on the models, the kids, the photographers, the families, the parents, clients, society. Like
Yeah.
it's a legacy that you're building. It
Well,
really
we're
is.
really trying. It is trying to make change to
Mhm.
things that have been established for a long time, right? But I really feel that it is time. I think a lot of people are really ready for this in so many ways, and you know, just keep pushing that train up the hill. We'll just keep
That's right.
doing
That's all
it,
you can
because I
do.
know we're going to get to that plateau where we're going to be able to ride, and people are going to be able to see it as they're coming, you know, as they're coming along. I think that
And then that'll
the
just be
more
the way
you
that it
see it.
is. That'll just be the way it is at that point.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And
So I
especially if
reached
we
out.
start with kids, especially when we
Right.
start with kids,
Right.
because then it just become it is just their norm.
I reached out to someone, and I want to read a couple of sentences here. Quotes, "One of the many things I love about Kristie is that not only is she a wonderful casting director, she's a wonderful person.
Mm.
Yes, she cares about the work, but so do a lot of people in her industry. But what makes her extraordinary is that she cares about the humans she represents. And she's made it her mission to make sure they are represented and able to represent their communities with the pride, dignity, and equality they so deserve. And I love her for that. As a fellow woman in our industry, as a fellow mom, and as a fellow human in this world, Kristie is one of the good ones."
Wow.
I know.
I'm a little woo. Holy cow.
But heartfelt.
Thank you.
And you know, I reached out, and within like minutes, I got this whole thing back. So, I mean, just that is the impact on one person that you're having. So just, you should feel so proud.
I am proud. I really am. And you know, for the hard part is for me is sometimes sort of taking a step and realizing all these steps that need to be taken. Like, I'm already at the end of the race. I'm already there. I already see it happening by participating in these clinics and organizing them. So from our Boston clinic, I met 3 young adults, 2 girls and a young man, and I had them come and assist at the next clinic we had. So Tucker, a young photographer, passion for photography, does some stuff with the Woo Socks in Worcester, Mass. He came and shot behind the scenes for us. So as people were doing some stuff, he was able to capture what was happening on set as the photographers were shooting. It was great. And his pictures are fantastic. And 2 other girls, both, one was 17, one's 18, both have Down syndrome, and they were assisting us. They love the industry. They want to learn more about what does it take to be part of a casting company? What does it take? You know, what other kind of positions are available within casting organizations? I mean, they're asking all the right questions and opportunities. I want to create opportunities there too. So that's been really exciting. One young woman, Natalie, is going to be joining us for our open call that we'll be having in May, where she'll be the greeter and she'll be logging people in and then bringing them through, you know, into the room where we'll be talking with them, and then also guiding the kids on set through their poses. And she's so excited. And then I'm going to be following her on her first photo shoot for a boutique that's located in the town where she lives, but they'll be doing some hair and makeup.
That's amazing.
And some wardrobe styling. And it's just, this is it. This is how, if we show people that it's this easy and this is how we can incorporate it, we can create more opportunities.
That's awesome. I did have one question. What are you most proud of? There's so much that we've already talked about. I don't know if there's something else you want to add. You're certainly being a role model for your daughter. I know that.
Thank you. You know, I when you asked me this once before, I came up with a very quick answer, and it was being very proud of my daughter, and I am most proud of that. I'm proud of being a single mom who worked really hard to inspire my daughter to be whoever she wanted to be, right? Whomever. That was really important. Although I did sometimes whisper to her when she was little, "Be the makeup artist." That did not work, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But I am really proud. You know what? I am really proud of my career. I really am. For someone that, didn't really know what I was going to do in college, thought I wanted to do one thing, walked into my professor's office and was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just, I shadowed a person that I thought that that's what I wanted to be. And that's totally not feeling good for me. And, she had another opportunity for me, which led me to a modeling agency, which led me to my own modeling agency, which, led me to all these things. And, I am really proud of what I've put forth in this industry. Because I think sometimes, modeling gets a bad rap. People take advantage in this industry a lot. I can look at myself in the mirror and never once, I believe I've misled anybody or taken advantage or any of that. My whole goal here is to sort of see the field for what it is, and then move people into it in a way that, again, is true and authentic as an addition, wonderful inspiration, wonderful creativity into photos, videos, and the production that's happening, here in New England and beyond.
Well, congratulations again. You should be proud of all of that. I really appreciate you taking the time today and sharing your story. And thank you all for listening. And until next time, be well. Thanks, Kristie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Hush Providence, a well-being podcast. This would not be possible without the incredible help from Jamie Farinella and Stephanie Whitehead on branding and logo concept, John Papa's endless generosity, David Davignon and Austin Lynch for their skilled technical expertise, and of course, our amazing guests and all of you, our listeners. Until next time, be well.